module. Actually, this is representing what we did this week, and of course our deliverable. And the presentation is part of the deliverable. First of all, we'll go back at the beginning of the week, try to explain something, our view on all power trios. A short video. Well, the interesting thing about the power trio is that because of the amplifier in the 60s, people were not only able to make music louder, but also fill the spectrum better. So where you normally would take like 18 people to fill the musical spectrum, now you could do it with 3 people, which always provided room for improvising. Because when somebody started improvising, the other could take over the role in the music to keep the spectrum. So it was interesting that each of these people had a separate role, and they worked together to form unity to fulfill a higher goal. One of the interesting things, for example, in the papers about multimodality is, for example, this is one of the things we focused on. 2 or more people to sense each other using technology as intermediary. So by using technology, you can create some sort of multimodal interaction between people, as we are doing right now. And on the website, we've also mentioned that it's not really readable, but a power trio that is supporting communication between 3 members that perform time-critical tasks. So that's where we focused on, and we thought there were possibilities in presentation in a design process. For example, this is the way it's going right now. The medium has changed over time, so from DIA reactors to overhead beamers to real beamers, smart boards. So the medium has changed, but the modality stayed the same really. The modality of sound, speech, and the visuals. So we thought there were some opportunities. Our idea was that you had a library of all your things you collected throughout the design process. So you perform the task as usual. You tag the digital and the physical objects into some sort of database. And in the presentation, you have 3 roles that can support the presentation. Each because of their unique possibilities to form a more dynamic and interesting presentation. This is shown in this picture. As you can see here, you have the visual aspect, the physical object, and the person who is directing the part. And also another visual about tagging and creating the library. And this is also the visual you saw in the presentation yesterday of how we imagined it would work. So, the conclusion is by creating such a system, it's not really readable again, but you support the interaction and you improve the communication between the team members, as mentioned on the website and in the paper referred to, and you create a much more multimodal way of presenting by not only using visuals and speech, but also physical objects, using gestures, and also be more interactive to other members in the presentation. It's more dynamic, a quick way of improvising, and it contributes to the higher goal, making use of really a power trio, 3 of the people contributing in the presentation. One of the things that we could see evolve this to is a much more, how do you say, in future,
a richer and more dynamic interaction than this.
Yeah.
It was one day.
It was only one day of work, but as we imagined, for example, is maybe you've seen the video. This would be really what we're aiming for. So that it works much more fluently than the tapping, and that you could really zoom in the timeline.
By this timeline, I can give suggestions to him about what he could use as visual material to use in his story. And this is on the time scale, so you've got like first day of this minute project, and then second day, the third day, fourth day. That's the end.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Thank you.
And there's the RFID reader. That's you can put physical objects on it, and it will scroll automatically to that stage in time, so we can select material affiliated to that kind of object.
Okay. And maybe some first comments or questions.